Hi, fans of high-quality entertainment. So yesterday on my Canadian Studmuffin channel, I did a video ranking the 20 worst CDs in my collection. And of course, it got thousands of views because negative videos seem to do really well for some reason, especially when you have worst in the title. But I want to be more positive in this video, and this video is ranking 12 great albums from the 60s. Probably my favorite for each artist of the ones I've heard. And what kind of inspired me was yesterday I got in the mail my 4th Jimi Hendrix album. And I've only heard this once. And this is, of course, called Band of Gypsies, live, recorded on New Year's Eve, 1969, released in 1970. And just amazing live album. But like I said, I've only listened to it once. And these are the other ones I have, deluxe versions. Yeah, I've become a huge fan of Jimi Hendrix and the Jimi Hendrix Experience. I've always really liked them, but I never really, albums like Axis Bold as Love, I never really listened to. I just knew, the big hits. And probably my favorite, which is going to be part of this video, Electric Ladyland. So here we go. The albums I have, and these are just some of the great albums from the 60s I have in my collection. So Electric Ladyland, a very underrated 60s bands, the Buckinghams, In One Ear and Gone Tomorrow. This album, it took me years to totally, I always liked it, but I love it now. But like I said, it took me a long time. The band, music from Big Pink. The Beach Boys. You gotta have the Beach Boys, even though there's no Beatles in this video, because they'd be number one for me. Another kind of underrated band. Yes, a real band in the long run. The Monkees. And this is Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, and Jones Limited. That title tired me out. It's too long. The great Moody Blues, In Search of the Lost Chord. Steppenwolf, their great debut album. Donovan, that's right, Sunshine Superman. As some of you know, I've become a huge fan of him. I only have 2 albums. This one and Mellow Yellow. I had to remember the name of it. Mellow Yellow, and I love both pretty much equally. If I had to pick, I guess this is just a touch stronger. And I've got, I think, 3 or 4 more. Don't panic. It's okay. Always be careful with your CDs. That's one thing. That's one of the things I always try and tell my viewers. Don't be careless. Where was I? Oh yeah, I'm doing a YouTube video. Okay. Is that it? Yeah, so there's more here. Silly me. The Rascals. C. This might have come out in very early 1970, but who cares? I make up my own rules for my videos. This came out in the 60s for sure. Pink Floyd, The Piper at the Gates of Dawn, and the Kinks, Arthur, or The Decline and Fall of the British Empire. All right, I just double checked because I want to keep it in the 60s. This is from the 60s, but it was released December 15th, 1969, so 2 weeks before the 70s started. And finally, Canned Heat, Hallelujah. Big fan of Canned Heat. I have all of their early albums. So I will be back in probably 2 or 3 minutes showing you. And like I said, I love all of these albums. So even number 12, is a great album for me. That took me 2 minutes, 23 seconds. All right, so here we go. Number 12. And these are the most difficult ones to rank, right? When you have all great albums. There's none that are mediocre or suck. So number 12, like I said, I always think this band is underrated. They were one of those 60s bands where the group actually played on their albums. Just so talented, some great guitar work. If you love, pop rock music with catchy, melodic pop rock, check out the Buckinghams. There's a song on this called Simplicity, which is very Paul McCartney-ish. And then there's a heavier song called Can't Find the Words with a really good guitar solo in it. So I'm always talking about this album, or, the Buckinghams, once or twice or 3 times a year. They're number 12. And Pop Goes the 60s has a great video on them. He has a great video on lots of bands. Number 11. Yeah, I love this album more than I did when I first bought it in the very early 70s. I liked it back then, but now I just have a new appreciation for it. It's the Rascals C. And for this album, if you're interested, check out the song, the title track C, which is kind of heavy. And, it's also got, blue-eyed soul songs on this and some great pop. But this is fantastic. That's number 11. Number 10. The Monkees. And I wouldn't say I love every song, but there's so many great songs on here, like Star Collector, Daily Nightly, Salesman, Cuddly Toy, What Am I Doing Hanging Round? All right, number 9. One of the great debut albums. And once again, I think this band doesn't get as much recognition as they should. And they're not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is insane. It is Steppenwolf. Of course, this album includes Born to Be Wild and Suki, 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 Sue. And many more great songs. Desperation and The Pusher and lots of great stuff. Number 8, The Kinks, Arthur. Possibly my favorite Kinks album, along with Lola versus Power Man, Victoria, of course, Brainwashed, Drivin', Australia, Shangri-La, one of their greatest songs. Number 7. Some pretty good vocals on this. The Band, music from Big Pink. Number 6, The Great Moody Blues, In Search of the Lost Chord. Probably my favorite Moody Blues album. Number 5. Another album that I have loved ever since I first heard it in probably the very late 60s, early 70s, Canned Heat. Hallelujah. If you love blues rock, you need this you need Canned Heat in your collection, man. Number 4. I'm not the biggest, I like Pink Floyd quite a bit. Metal is awesome. The Dark Side of the Moon. The Wall is good, not my favorite. Wish You Were Here is excellent. But overall, I'm not like a huge Pink Floyd fan, but this is one of the greatest debuts ever. The Piper at the Gates of Dawn. Ooh. What's that? You haven't seen Donovan yet? Well, you will now. It's number 3, and it's moving up. It might be number 1 by tomorrow. Yeah, I just love Donovan. Yeah, and probably one of my favorite Donovan songs that I've heard. The final track on this, Celeste, is just amazing. Sunshine Superman. And as you can see, I safely have the CD inside, so it never falls out. Guaranteed not to fall out. Oh, number 1 and number 2, they're kind of equal. They're both number 1. But number 2 at the moment, I guess, for today, is the Beach Boys' Smiley Smile. I think it's my favorite after Pet Sounds, which I could have, I just wanted to. Pet Sounds and Smiley Smile are kind of even, but Pet Sounds is talked about so much more than Smiley Smile, so I wanted to choose Smiley Smile. And I always listen to the stereo version of it. One of the most calming, relaxing albums I've ever heard. And just, of course, amazing vocals. Number 1, the Jimi Hendrix Experience, Electric Ladyland. And the reason it's number 1 is it has at least twice as much material as the other albums I've shown. And I'm just blown away by how good this is. And since this came out, I never really heard the whole album. I only knew, Voodoo Child and maybe a couple of other songs. But just the band, too. Not just Jimi Hendrix. It's the Jimi Hendrix Experience. 3 members. And they were all great. So that is it. Have a great day. Remember to like the video, leave a comment below, and make sure you're subscribed to both of my channels. Bye.